I'm Mackerel, and today I'm talking about some of my music hyperfixations, while you watch me paint the album cover for my current one. Couple of things before I start. I'm aware that the first artist I'm going to be talking about has a couple controversies, and I will be talking about the art separate from the artist. I will be asking for people to not comment anything about controversies on any of these other artists that I'm talking about, simply because I like their music and I know next to nothing about any of them personally, besides like the name of the artist and the band, and I want to keep their music separate from who they are as people. With all that said, let's get into what you're actually watching this video for. So first up on the artist that I will be talking about is Melanie Martinez. I have a lot to say about her simply because I knew about her before I became obsessed with her music, and that probably led to the level of obsessed that I got to. So the first time I heard about her was probably in about 6th grade, when on the bus ride home, my friend that I was sitting next to showed me what art she was listening to. She gave me one of her wired headphones and played either Orange Juice or Nurse's Office, since those were the only clean songs on the K-12 album, and I was a pretty sheltered kid. I listened to it and it was pretty mid. Honestly, even now, the K-12 album is just like not my thing. It was just never my type of music. It was always just too low energy to put on any of my other music's playlist. Like today, I think I have one of the after school editions on my playlist. I'll talk about it later, I guess. And I never liked any of the songs enough as songs to add them to any playlist. Now, flash forward to 7th grade. It's not the best year. And I had just downloaded Pandora onto my phone and was very annoyed with the fact that you couldn't choose what you listened to. And I didn't know how to make a playlist yet. So I was just listening to albums. It was first like Lindsey Sterling and a couple of other similar artists with like the string instrumental stuff. But I eventually remembered that one artist that my friend had showed me a couple years ago. I typed in a couple of different names until eventually it showed up. That cover with the light pink school and the pink bus and Melanie Martinez standing in front. When I say I listen to this album on repeat, I listen to it on repeat. Every day, when I got on the bus, I'd play Wheels on the Bus, go until High School Sweethearts, skip High School Sweethearts because I didn't like that song, still don't, and get about halfway through recess and get to my destination. I did this every single day for about a month in a row, maybe 2. And then one day I checked the artist profile and saw that she had another album, Cry Baby. This was my jam. I loved this album and still have the song Cry Baby on my current playlist. And I went back and forth between the two albums for another month or 2 until I moved on to other music. I did watch a couple of the music videos during this time, along with the movie Twice, which I'll talk about more in a minute because I have a couple like little things to say about it. Just a fun fact about me, I don't like watching music videos. If I wanted to watch a movie, I'd watch a movie. And if I wanted to listen to music, I'd listen to music. I don't have a need for both. And just, that's kind of only why I watched a few of them. I watched the Crybaby album in order, I think. And got bored during Training Wheels and never continued watching. But I do think I went back and watched Pity Party. I don't remember a lot of it, except for I got really bored during like the one that is Soap and Training Wheels together, because I guess I didn't have an attention span even before TikTok. So yeah. And I remember later that summer I listened to the Portals albums and didn't really like it all that much. I have a lot more Portals music on my playlist than the other albums, so I guess things changed, and I slowly forgot about the bus time routine of just listening to the albums on repeat. And that was kind of the end of my Melanie Martinez era. Until the next year. So I hyperfixated on Melanie Martinez twice. Now this video is structured chronologically, so when you see that Melanie Martinez is twice in a row, no, that's because I did hyperfixate on Melanie Martinez twice. back to back. There's a very distinct break between these two times because now your girl is back with Spotify. I was older, I was wiser, and I knew how to make a playlist. So when I first got Spotify, I was unsure of what to listen to, so you know what I listened to? A Britney Spears mix. Why? After listening to it for a little bit, I decided to start listening to Melanie Martinez. I put my favorite songs on a playlist together, and I listened to it on shuffle. I would occasionally add songs I hadn't listened to before, like from the Portals album and the After School edition, and had a great time. Now, I feel like I need to give some context for the second Melanie Martinez era. I was in 8th grade, which was not a very great year for me. I wasn't in the best place mentally, but it never got too bad. I started drawing characters for a story I was working on, and I'm still working on, and I had listened to Melanie Martinez because I remembered how happy she had made me on the bus rides home, and I kind of need that again. There's a quote I read somewhere, it's like, music didn't save you, but it gave you the strength to save yourself. That's always kind of been what music was for me. Okay, so I didn't really know how to incorporate the story into the video, so we're just going to take a quick break from talking about hyperfixations to talk about a quick little story time. So, the first time I watched a K-12 movie. So, I was at my friend's house and was staying the night for her birthday or something, and we were watching the K-12 movie by Melanie Martinez. Now, we were really young and wouldn't have been allowed to watch the movie if her parents heard this, curses and stuff. So every time there was a swear, we would quickly turn down the volume in hopes that her parents wouldn't hear. This was the first time I watched the movie as well, so I didn't really understand what was happening since I was a very sheltered child. I just thought this was a fun little story to add in before we move on to a much more recent hyperfixation. So after I stopped listening to Melanie Martinez, I just needed to listen to something different. Anything different. So I started listening to a rock playlist that was recommended to me by Spotify. This playlist had stuff like Mindless Self-Indulgent, Panic at the Disco. Okay. Sorry, really quickly, it auto-corrected to Panic Attacks at the Disco. So that's why I'm laughing. It also had My Chemical Romance, and most importantly, Hayloft 2. This song was the first thing I listened to every time I opened Spotify. The amount of times this song got played was more than I'd care to admit. And most importantly, it was the beginning of a very, very long hyperfixation with Mother Mother. If you don't know, Mother Mother is an indie alternative band, a rock band, that I'm 90% sure is Canadian. But I can't be bothered to double check right now. This band is everything to me. I would like to say this is a past hyperfixation, but I still have quite a few of their songs on my playlist. It makes it up about, I would say, 40% of it. And I made a playlist specifically so I wouldn't just listen to Mother Mother on repeat and get burned out. I'm mostly just in the end of my hyperfixation, and it's going down a little bit, but I kind of slowed it down by making this new playlist. Now back to Hayloft 2, I originally listened to the song because when I first got onto TikTok, the eye for an eye, leg for a leg, a shot in the heart doesn't make it unbreak, that part of the song was a TikTok sound that got really popular. And I never knew what song it was until I listened to it on Spotify, and I became obsessed with the song. And I listened to it so much that, more songs by this band started playing, even though it wasn't really the vibes of the playlist. Oh, Anna, Wrecking Ball, and Problems are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. And after listening to these on repeat, I eventually got recommended a Mother Mother mixed playlist. And I mostly listened to the Mother Mother songs on it. At some point, I wanted to diversify the type of Mother Mother songs I was listening to. So I went to their homepage on Spotify and clicked on the play button. Most of the songs I was recommended, I either already listened to or didn't like. So I just had a mixed playlist that I listened to that I only really added Mother Mother songs to. That was until spring of last year where I made a playlist of just Mother Mother. It was originally an hour and 15 minutes long, and it is now about 3 hours long. If you can't tell, that's a shit ton of music. Not to brag or anything, but if you started playing any of those songs, I will be able to sing all the lyrics with about a 95% accuracy. Until about a month ago, that's more of 2 months ago from when I wrote this, I was still listening to this playlist. I stopped when I saw my Spotify Wrap, and I had listened to 14,764 minutes of just this band. I did the math, and that is 10 and a quarter days worth of music. So, while I am officially the top 0.003% of fans, I realize that I'm going to get burnt out, and I am going to stop listening to this band. I am going to regret all this time that I've wasted, in air quotes, listening to their music. So I made a new playlist with other artists and music. It did contain a lot of their music, but it also contained a lot of music from artists that I had listened to between Hyperfixations, and even during the time when I was just listening to Mother Mother, I'd occasionally listen to another playlist, and this had a couple songs from there. I failed to mention that the reason why I had started listening to Mother Mother songs so regularly. So I'll just say it now. I was finally starting to feel better than I had been in a really long time after joining my school's introduction to theater class, and I had a great community of people. But after that semester, I had started to feel lonely again. I felt isolated, and this music helped with that. When I felt like I couldn't talk to my friends about how I felt, I could listen to my playlist, and things felt better. When I felt like everything was happening around me, Original Spin was there. When I didn't like my reflection and felt as if nothing could change it, Body of Years was there. And when I felt like I was worthless and like I was just making everything worse, It's Alright was there. Another reason I don't exclusively listen to Mother Mother anymore is because I've become more open with the people around me. I've made more friends who make me feel like it's alright to be me. And I'm not saying that theater cured my depression, but damn did it help. Being in a better mental place means that I no longer have to depend on music to make me feel better at the end of a long day. I also joined year-round theater. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but that also really helped me. I didn't really need to be so reliant on one particular band to get through the day. So creating a new and improved playlist with other music was just really easy because I didn't need just one band. Also, I've gotten into such a better place mentally, so I don't need anybody to ask me how I'm doing. I'm doing fine. And I'm listening to multiple types of music on the car ride home every day. And it's just been something I do for fun instead of the only thing keeping me mentally stable. So while I still listen to more Mother Mother than any sane person probably should, it's not really a hyperfixation anymore. So I started to make this new and improved playlist I'm hinting at. And the first song that I added is actually from my most recent and current hyperfixation. So at the beginning of the video, I said don't comment about any of the controversies that people have been in. This is a band that I know has gone into a controversy and is kind of the reason I included that in the beginning. Again, I like their art. I don't know anything about them personally, partially because I know that their first album was released in 2006. That's 20 years for shit to happen. So, just saying, I don't want to know about it. I don't really care. I just like their music. So, the Orion Experience. I'm not saying the vibes of Mother Mother and the Orion Experience are complete opposites, but the whiplash from playing some of their songs back to back is enough to break your neck. Going from moody indie alternative rock to some gay-ass disco punk pop really kind of shows how my music taste has changed in the past months. Eureka has definitely taken my top spot for Best Mother Mother album. Sorry, Oh My Heart. And I feel like the vibes can be best described as the Orion Experience on Adderall. Like in the ADHD way, not in the being more hyper way. The Orion Experience very much embodies my current music taste, with it being very upbeat while still being very, very weird. Now that I think about it, over time, I've gotten weirder and a little more extroverted. I'm still very much an introvert, but I think people understand introvert the wrong way. It's like, I prefer the quality of my human interactions over the quantity. And I have found a lot more people to where I can do a lot of quantity and quality time with them. That's the way I'm using extroverted here, just to make sure people understand. So like I said before, I so rudely interrupted myself. Now that I think about it, over time I've gone weirder and a little more extroverted in air quotes. So I guess you could say the change makes sense. The way I found out about the Orion Experience is through that rock playlist I listened to after I stopped listening to Melanie Martinez. On there was a song that you may be familiar with, The Cult of Dionysus, which I definitely spelled wrong in my script. There's absolutely no reason I should like the song. I neither have wine, nor women, nor wonderful biases. This song is kind of so much the opposite of me, it loops back round to kind of being relatable. I first listened to this song when my lust for life had gone away, and honestly, it was kind of nice for a couple of minutes to pretend that I was a different person who was more normal, I guess. Even when I still listen and sing along with the song, it's nice to just pretend that I'm on stage singing about wanting to start a new life with someone I don't know. And while I don't relate to the specifics, since I am very romantically impaired and all, I still love the song. Even during the time when I was listening to my exclusively Mother playlist, I would still change the playlist to just listen to the song. So much that it actually became my most listened to song of the week, like three times. So it was naturally the first song I added to my new playlist. Now, when I was looking for more songs to add to this playlist, I went to the Orion Experience profile on Spotify and looked at their most popular songs and added a couple of them, and then went through their music catalog to try to find some more music that looked like it was something I would like. I tend to like more of an artist, more niche songs, mostly because a lot of their top songs tend to be love songs, and I'm not a big fan of those. My favorites include Blood and Money, All Dolled Up, Star Child, Vampire, and Obsessed with You. Now, this hyperfixation is different from the rest of mine because they simply don't have enough music that I like, at least right now, to where I'm actually considering making a just Orion Experience playlist. However, I will 100% consider listening to more of their music and adding it to my playlist. The vibes are just so perfect for the playlist I'm trying to make, and it'd be kind of dumb not to look for more. So, I don't quite have an OBSCSSION, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested in being obsessed with them in the future, you know? Real quickly, before we move on, I want to talk about why I like specific songs by the Orion Experience, because I'm sure some of you will say I'm a hypocrite, because some of the songs I talked about liking from the Orion Experience are in fact love songs or love song adjacent. I already talked about why I like the Cult of Dionysus. I don't need to do that one. So first is Obsessed with You, and I like it for the same reason I like Unhealthy Obsession. If you know, you know. It's fun. Singing about being a stalker and knowing everything about a person is fun. I think the song is kind of silly, and it's in the realm of like so opposite from me that like it just kind of loops back around to being something I like. Next is All Dolled Up, and I originally added the song because I am writing some songs for myself, and if I actually manage to finish enough songs for an album, I've already decided that it will be titled Be a Doll, and this song was just intriguing to me. The reason I kept it on my playlist is because I find it so relatable. Specifically, the last verse where it says, like, they can't control us, they don't define us, we never did belong. Really relatable. Also, the part where the female lead singer, I think her name is Linda XO, I don't want to double check, where she's like sings, I don't want to be a boy, I don't want to be a girl. I don't know, I just find that lyric like so endearing, like, me too girl, me too. Also, I would totally love to be the most glamorous person on the planet if I both had the time, the energy, and actually wanted to put the effort into my outfit. The last song I'm going to talk about is Vampire, and honestly, I just like the song because it's such a vibe. I don't know how to describe it much better than that. It's just like, it's talking about a girl who's just like a seductress, but like, she's a vampire. She's been doing this for 7,000 years. You know? Can we just let a girl be a girl? Come on. Heaven forbid a woman does anything. Now, as a little bonus, I want to talk about some mini hyperfixations. These are not at the level of the previous 3, and probably never will be, but this is more for just like an honorable mention section for some artists I like and I want to talk about. First up is Mitski, and I want to start with her because I hyperfixated on her in a different way. So I was scrolling through Pinterest and I randomly found some piano sheet music for Washing Machine Heart, a song I really like. And when I tried to play it on piano, it didn't go well. I'm really bad at the piano. And I was like, oh, this would be a fun way to learn. It was not. I remembered that I had GarageBand on my iPad. So I decided on a whim that, hey, it'd be fun to make an instrumental version of the song. Now, 6 or 7 hours later, that's not a joke, it genuinely took me that long, I have listened to the music video about 50 times because the music only, like the sheet music only went halfway through the song, and I needed to just BS my way through the last bit, and I decided to check the time. It was 11 o'clock at night. I don't typically stay up past 9, mostly because nothing good happens at night that's not like the same or better in the morning. And I saw the time and thought, I'll go to bed in a couple of minutes. I was in a trance, people. I had been in the zone, locked in, possessed, whatever you would like to call it. This is coming from somebody who has a hard time working on anything for more than an hour max. The reason I included Mitski in this video is because something took a hold of me and against my will made me create an instrumental version of some pop song by an artist I only listened to about 3 songs from for 6 or 7 hours straight. I had been enlightened and truly hyperfixated like a professional. So that's what I mean when I say I hyperfixated on Mitski in a different way. Up next is Marina. So I never got obsessed with her personally, but there were a couple of songs of hers that I would play on repeat. Oh no, Girls, 17, Are You Satisfied, Teen Idol, Bubblegum Bitch, Family Jewels, Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. I repeated all of these songs many times. I never listened to just Marina, but she has been on most of my playlists in the past 2 or 3 years, and I genuinely don't think I could ever get hyperfixated on her, even though I like a lot of her music. Because all of her music that I really like and listen to are on her 2 oldest albums besides Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land, and that's kind of an exception. I listened to a couple of the songs on her newest album that came out in the year of our Lord 2025, and I only liked 2 songs. So, I'm just saying, her new music is just not my type of music. And the reason I got so obsessed with other artists, specifically Mother for this example, is that their music, although it has changed over time, there is at least one song on every album, besides A Very Good Bad Thing, that I know all the words to and can explain exactly why I like that song. And that's just not the case with Marina. And even though her music isn't my thing, I'm not trying to be a hater. I just think it sounds a lot more like pop music, and I'm just not a pop music person. So, her new album, not bad in any way. It's just not my type of music. And that's why I will not be hyperfixating on Marina in the future, most likely. But still deserves an honorable mention. Now, the final artist I'm talking about in this video is Cavetown. Now, I only know one of their songs, Deviltown, and like many of the artists previously, I listened to this song on repeat. I love this song, and I can no longer listen to it, and it's for a really dumb and personal reason. Mother made a mashup of Deviltown and Dirty Town, and I didn't like it. I just don't like it. It takes away the upbeat nature of both the songs and dulls them down in a way, And in general, I don't like covers of songs, and this one specifically was just horrendous to me. I refuse to listen to this mashup. I can no longer listen to the original Devil-Town. I like Dirty Town significantly less. I used to love that song. And I now have zero interest in listening to Cave Town. Nothing personal. I just really hate this cover. Now, let's talk about two covers I do like. Now, this is the last section of the video, and if you got this far, you probably like this video. And if you want the algorithm to know this is the type of content you like, I'd consider leaving a like and subscribing if you like me personally. Now, the first song cover I want to talk about is the Orion Experiences cover of Wrecking Ball. If you don't know, this is a song by Mother Mother, and it is actually one of the first songs, if you remember all the way back, that I listened to. I no longer listen to the original version because I just got so burnt out on it. And it's a really good song, so if you like weird indie country rock music, it's definitely worth a listen. Now, when I saw that the Orion Experience did a cover, I got really excited and really nervous because my two Hyperfixations did a crossover, and I would either really love the song or I would hate it and like these two artists significantly less. It was not the latter. It made the song more upbeat, kept all the lyrics I had memorized almost exactly the same, and the vibes, people, they were so perfect for my playlist. You do not understand. This is one of the two covers I actually like. Like, out of every song in the world, there's only two covers I like, and this is one of them. So, I'm just saying, if it's something you're interested in listening to, and you're bored, it's worth listening to. Now, the other cover I like is Chaperone's Hot to Go, covered by Mother Mother. I don't know where to begin with this. It's so weird and such a perfect representation of my music taste, and is honestly the last thing I expected. I like Hot to Go, but I don't love it. It's a nice pop song that I stuck on my playlist for when other people are in my car, but this version, it's so weird, like I've said before, but it makes the song more of my music taste, and I love it. It also ends the song differently, so instead of that, like, I don't know, where she, like, talks with, like, a little bit of, like, drum music in the drums in the background, they changed it, and I didn't like that, and honestly, it's just an overall better listen for me. Now, I'm going to end this video with a couple of disclaimers because I want to make sure people are not misinterpreting what I've said. Well, yes, I've used the word hyperfixation a lot in this video. Understand that I have not been diagnosed with anything. I fully believe that my actions fall into the category of hyperfixating. And I know this word is commonly associated with ADHD and autism. And I want to make sure that people understand that I have not been diagnosed with anything. I was in my school's gifted program, so I have been technically diagnosed as neurodivergent, but that is the only thing I have been tested for. Also, I'm not gay. My music taste is very queercore, I acknowledge that, but I want to make sure that's clear that I'm not attracted to women, even if I come off as queer. Also, yes, I am an ally. That's all I have to say. I hope you liked the video. I know it's been a while, and I hope to post within 2 weeks, but no promises!